Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Devy Huddle. Thank you for tuning in. I am here with my Dashboard squad, as I like to call them. Gentlemen, we have a fun show planned for tonight. We got a full house, man. Look at this. We got 8 of us on here tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be great. So I'm pretty excited about this episode. We decided it's almost rookie season in a few months, or a few weeks rather. We're going to be talking about the rookies heading to the NFL. We're in the beginning of the declaration stage. I believe the Nevada quarterback, Carson Strong, today actually announced his declaration going to the NFL. So we're going to have a probably do 2 or 3 of these as we head up into the draft. And I figured, you know what, let's get started. Let's do an early mock. So, but before we start that, guys, I wanted to just continue to follow up on the Devy news, since this is the Devy Huddle show. We had some landing spots that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. He ended up in Texas. What do we think about that landing spot? I guess Xavier Worthy is now arguably maybe the the wide receiver 1 in Devy, huh? I'm being sarcastic, of course, but like his landing spot, what do we think?
Love it. I think it's the best landing spot that he could probably have for fantasy purposes. Like you said, Worthy, obviously, he had a huge season, but he's going to jump up boards. I think it helps Bijan Robinson as well. I think it helps everybody on that team.
Maybe Troy Omier.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah. Texas has a freshman tight end as well, Jatavian Sanders. Hopefully, he gets some playing time this year. He's supposed to be a athletic freak.
Yeah, I mean, he's loaded with weapons over there. It's conference that's not known for its defense. There's a chance he can put up some really good numbers there. It's a nice spot for him. It's a good coach in Sark. So, I mean, yeah, I like it for him.
Yeah, all he needs now is a haircut. All right, let's talk to Spencer Rattler. In all honesty, his hair is just awful. I know you got away with that.
It's a trend, Brandon.
I know it's his trademark. I get it, but it's still pretty atrocious, that mullet. All right, Spencer Rattler, the South Carolina. Kind of probably surprised a lot of people. It surprised me a bit. I wasn't probably expecting a program. I know it's an up and rise, coming program right now. Things are looking up. But I don't know. I just was concerned about his lack of receivers, the running game. Yeah.
He's going to bring him with him.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's all speculation. We'll have to see, right?
All the cast-offs from Oklahoma. My concern is if he can't handle Big 12 defenses, what's he going to do in the SEC?
Well, I applaud the decision going to the SEC, right? Because if you want to really, elevate your draft stock, why not go to the best conference and put it on tape for these guys to take a look at? So I think it's a great opportunity for him. My concern is just that if those receivers don't come and, he's not going to have a lot of playmakers who's going to, they're going to get open. So any final thoughts on that landing spot?
Beamer, the coach there, is doing a really good job recruiting some of these kids out of the portal. I really like what Beamer's doing there. So I mean, they have a chance to bring some guys in.
I think it's a great spot for him, personally. If we're going to talk about spots that are illustrious and also not going to necessarily are going to allow him to eat some humble pie, I think SC is phenomenal.
Yeah, and like Brian said, it's an opportunity in the SEC, which I'm sure he wanted on national attention. SEC, I mean, USC, the other USC, gets good recruits as well. They have. I mean, maybe Marshawn Lloyd can come back this year. They used to be a strong running team, and then they used to have weapons and stuff too. This is a team that, I said this in the chat the other day, that feels like they've lost their identity in the past year. And, maybe it's the quarterback play and everything and no real chemistry going on. They're cycling between Zaquandre White and Kevin Harris and Marshawn Lloyd, trying to get somebody going in the run game. So maybe Spencer can come, bring a face to that program, even put some butts in the seats. You know what I mean? I can see it from a program standpoint, and maybe a lower volume offense. If they go back to a run game, maybe it'll make him look more efficient, but less on his shoulders. It's not a horrible spot, I don't think.
Yeah. I like that he didn't go to LA. I think we'd already talked about that a little bit, about that being a concern. Britt, I know you were the one leading that charge. Just sort of the temptation and maybe a guy struggling with some maturity issues wouldn't be the best landing spot to end up in one of those LA teams. So I like it as well. I think it's a little bit more low key, not what many of us expected. but definitely a chance for him to, get back in the spotlight and recoup some of that value.
I like it. There's probably no other real news since last week with landing spots. I think that's worth talking about. So let's get into this draft, okay? So we are going to end up hardly being able to be seen on this screen. However, so a few things here, okay, guys? We're going to get started on this draft. So first and foremost, I put this out on Twitter, kind of promoting tonight's show. A lot of people, I think, are under the impression that I'm the one who created this mock draft. So I took this off Sports Illustrated's website. This was someone had done a 3-round mock about 2 weeks ago, and I basically took all the skill players from that mock draft and put it together. So I figured let's use this as landing spots for our mock draft, right? So, and the other thing is, none of us have we didn't do this before show. So this is all going to be live. This is all going to be, right here, right now. And we're going to go through and talk about our picks, talk about the landing spot, the opportunity. How much did that landing spot play a role, or is it strictly just based on skill? So are you guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
Let's roll,
All right.
Sal.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so Sal has the first pick. Sal, who you taking, my friend? Who are you taking? All right, here's you saw the draft. Here's the results. You got the first pick. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm looking at this first round. I mean, I love Treylon Burks. It's way too early to pick a running back, but in a super flex league, you have number one, you're not going to pick, and it is an 8-team. So, I mean, you're not going to pick for a while. Right. So you got to go quarterback. And it kind of is down to either Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral for me. I mean, Malik Willis going at 14 to Denver made me kind of think about it a little bit because he can probably jump in over Bridgewater. Even though I'm not a Malik Willis fan, I love Kenny Pickett. I can't believe I just said that, but I do like Kenny Pickett a lot.
I've grown on you, Sal.
But at this point, I mean, the stronger arm, can push downfield more rushing upside with Matt Corral. It's close in a super flex. It's close. And what made it even closer was Kenny Pickett going at pick 2 to Houston. But I just because I'm thinking Ridley will be back. He's going to have Pitts. Corral will have Pitts at Atlanta. And I just like that situation a lot better than the mess that is the Houston Texans. So I'm going Matt Corral.
I like it.
Decision.
Yeah, good pick.
Of course, I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, he's my QB1
I think it's
here
a great
too.
pick too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fit too. I like him going to Atlanta there, and then and even in this mock, we're seeing Isaiah Spiller go there. Where they've got weapons in Pitts, they've got weapons in Ridley if he gets his head on right. Some good complementary receivers there, Gage and Zacchaeus and whoever. So I mean, it can be a strong team. It can be a quick turnaround.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to jump back in because Ryan will be there. That contract they can't unless they can trade him. He's going to learn a little bit under Ryan.
Right.
I just like the situation better than the situation.
I also wouldn't rule out him. We always assume sometimes in those types of situations that a guy's going to sit for a year behind a guy like Ryan, but I wouldn't rule it out, him getting in there and getting some playing time midway through the season if things don't go the way they expect.
I think Ryan's dead cap hit next year is only $20 million instead of this year's $40 million, if I remember properly. So it's relatively easy to get out of today's age.
We've seen teams move on from worse, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And better.
Well, I'm a proponent of all quarterbacks sitting for at least a little while. I think what the 49ers are doing is smart with Trey Lance. Let these guys learn the playbook inside and out. It's hard enough just to execute on the field, especially if you don't know the playbook. That is a tall order. All right, Britt. Are you going to break Daniel's heart, or what are you going to do?
I think I am going to break Daniel's heart. When I'm looking at a quarterback, especially for dynasty purposes, I'm looking at a quarterback that can contribute right away. Because if I'm picking the bottom 3, that means that I'm going to be a team that needs a little oomph quickly. And as much as I enjoy Kenny Pickett, when you look at the weapons around him, you're literally looking at Brevin Jordan, who's having a nice little mini resurgence right now. He's starting to get open. Nico Collins is coming out a little bit. Brandon Cooks is Brandon Cooks. And that's literally the end of the list, which breaks my heart. And maybe they can recoup value, move into Deshaun Watson, and maybe that ownership in that team is going to learn football. That being said, I think I'm going to go with Sam Howell at 102. I pulled a fast one on you.
You jump in the gun, Brandon.
He's talking him up like he's,
Let me discuss why Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell is one of the safest picks you can have in this year's draft at quarterback. He's not flashy. He's not sexy. The likelihood of him giving you the upside that Corral and Pickett are going to give you isn't as high, but he offers you a rushing floor, which is almost necessary in today's scoring format. And he's also coming into Deontay Johnson and Claypool and Najee and Pat Freiermuth. When we're looking at weapons and a coach that is going to get the absolute most out of him, I think Howell succeeds real well up in Pittsburgh. It actually makes me kind of upset because Pittsburgh doesn't deserve that, but it's neither here nor there.
I like the pick. I would almost argue the not having as much upside as Pickett. I think with the rushing ability, although I mean we saw Pickett has something to it, to those legs, but I think Howell's a little bit of a better rusher personally.
Howell's my QB2.
Yeah, I'm still holding Howell at QB2 as well. I mean, this is a guy that we've kind of been watching for a long time. It's hard to push him aside and put Pickett up above him yet for me, just because like the body of work, right? Pickett, we've kind of been ignoring for years until this last year in a sense. So it's hard for me to forget about Howell. And I really appreciated the grittiness he showed this year. I think the year kind of started off with them trying to find their way without, the weapons on the outside they left last year with Miami and everything, and him trying to find out what was going to work. And it ended up with him being a lot more rushing, a lot of leaning on Josh Downs as well. But I like to see how he adapted to where his team struggled and found a way to continue to win.
Yeah, and I mean, we came into the year knowing that his statistics were going to take a hit. Like you said, he lost all that production, lost Diami Brown, lost Daz Newsome, Devontae Williams, Michael Carter. You can't replace that on an offense. You know what I mean? So we came into the year knowing that his statistics were going to take a hit. And yet here we are later in the year, and it's almost like everybody has forgotten that we came into the year expecting this. And like you said, he improved in his rushing abilities. Like I don't think he's done anything to drop down my ranks at all.
Yeah, I think whoever ends up going to Pittsburgh, if they take a quarterback in the first round, in this case Sam Howell, would be set up with the best chance for early success. We saw Big Ben years ago come in and lead his team to the playoffs. I want to say, didn't they get to the championship game his rookie year?
Yeah, I think they did.
Just playing that ball control offense. I think they did, and then he won the Super Bowl a couple years later or whatever it was. But they're kind of set up for success. They're being held back by quarterback play right now. But they do have a lot of nice pieces on offense and some nice pieces on defense to support that as well.
Yeah.
All right, Des, you are up, my friend. Who are you taking?
All right. That was a really good pick by Britt, honestly. Just to speak on that, when I initially seen the landing spot, I said, man, if he was there at 3, I would love to pick up Sam Howell. I mean, with that being said, though, I think I'm going to do a little different here. This is a super flex, and I know a lot of times we try to jump on a lot of the quarterbacks and things like that, but 2 of them actually got picked that I liked. I do like Kenny Pickett. I just don't like that landing spot. I just don't like that organization. I don't know where they're headed. I don't know what they're doing. And I just feel like it's another David Carr situation or something where he's just going to there and it's going to be crazy. So I'm going to just go with Treylon Burks. He's my wide receiver 1 for here. I was in between the running back and the wide receiver, but I just think he's too good of a prospect to kind of pass up here. I'm not really too comfortable about the other quarterbacks or anybody that's like kind of under him. So like I want to get somebody that's I feel as though is a stud. Now he is going to the Saints. He's going to be probably, working along with Michael Thomas, but and then you got the Taysom Hill effect. So I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they can get what's my man Jameis back healthy and you can kind of go out there and sling it a little bit. And Burks is a beast, man. He got the size, he got the speed, he's been dominating. And then this year he just was phenomenal. So that's my pick.
He's a stud. That's a nice landing spot. Good pick, this.
Yeah, and I'll be surprised, honestly, if Michael Thomas is with the Saints next year, to be honest with you. So he could be walking right into a pretty feature role there.
Yeah, and I would expect Sean Payton to bring in a quarterback. I don't think that their quarterback next year is on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Jameis apologist too. I don't mind him if he can. I know this year had its moments, ups and downs, but I think he can. I think he can manage Sean Payton's offense if he's required to.
Yeah, he got. I thought he was playing really good. To be honest with you, early in the season. Now he does throw. He has the whole 30 pick thing, and when he was with Tampa, but I just think that he had a good handle on what he needed to do with the offense, and if he had added another playmaker, I just think it just would be even better.
That could have been it. Like the playmakers could have limited him this year because he seemed very conservative,
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, they didn't have any playmakers, so that could have been it for sure.
All right. Well, it is my pick next, and I'm between two people. I'm also going to pass on Kenny Pickett. I'm going to make the assumption. I am kind of on board with what Dez thought, and that organization as a whole. I have concerns there, and I'm going to assume that maybe in this particular situation, I've got a pretty hefty depth quarterback position already on my roster. So I think I'm going to take. It's either between for me. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers, if I knew that he was staying in Green Bay, Jameson Williams is my favorite receiver in the draft right now. I'd probably consider taking him, but I am going to take Mr. Breece Hall. He's my RB1 in this class, and I actually like the landing spot in Miami. I've never been a Gaskins believer. They've got their quarterback. They've got Waddle. They've got the tight end, and the last missing piece for me in that offense is to get a bell cow running back who I think can, bring the physicality between the tackles, can catch the pass out of the backfield. He's just been electric at Iowa State this year. So, it might be a little early for running back, but I think after Spiller and Hall and possibly Walker, I don't think I'm going to get one of those guys on the way back. And I don't know. I value running backs a little bit, maybe too early in the first round of these mock drafts, but I'm going to take my RB1 off the board here at number 4. And I like the landing spot a lot. So he is my selection at number 4.
It's never too early for a running back.
Yeah, never. I picked him up on my pick, Brandon. So I thought that was a good pick.
It's a great landing spot for him.
Coming back, so
that hurts me, man. I was really hoping I was going to call 2 more picks, man. Honestly,
That's all I know.
Here I am at 107, licking my chops, thinking I'm getting
Oh
Breece Hall.
my God, man.
God, come on.
I was so excited, but I like him a lot too. I mean, Brandon. I've been a big fan of this guy. I had him running back 1 for a long time, even overall in Devy, in Bijan's freshman season and stuff like that. But, he's a versatile guy. You go back to his high school tape, this guy was running wide receiver routes. A lot of people want to try to talk about his pass catching because he wasn't involved too much in it at Iowa State. But I've seen enough to know that I trust his abilities. Like I said, you go back and watch his tape in his recruiting days. He's out playing wide receiver. He's running wide receiver routes. He's catching the ball. He looks good out there. A lot of people want to talk about the athleticism as well. I'm not too concerned. Even if he's in the 4.5 range or something like that, I don't think he's above 4.6. I don't think he's a 4.3, low 4.4 guy either. I think he's going to be right around that average range. But yeah, I really like him. His vision, his instincts, everything is top of the class for me.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, he's got that vision, like you said. He's very patient. He lets his blocks develop. He's a very natural pass catcher. You know what I mean? He doesn't fight the ball. I think it was the Iowa game. It was on fourth down, and he made this one-handed grab along the sidelines, and I was just like, boom! I think I jumped in the Slack chat.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's why he's a great receiver. Not like a great, but I mean, very natural.
Yeah,
I just watched a couple of game films on him actually over the weekend. He was one of the first guys I'm kind of starting to break down a little bit for the 2022 class, and he's been my RB1. I was even more impressed going back and watching some of the film from this year. I really his footwork is great, man, and his jump cut ability is something special. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's
great
Dan. At all those technical things that a running back needs to be good at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Daniel,
well,
1.05. Who you taking, my friend?
Was this staged? I feel like this was staged just to give me another opportunity to talk about Kenny Pickett. I was
testing. We're testing your faith.
Yeah, I should totally go off brand right here, right? No, I was talking to Sal. We were messaging a couple nights ago, and I thought for sure he was going to take Pickett, but then he kind of started to debate between Corral and Pickett. So I didn't think he'd be here at 105. And look, if Kenny Pickett goes in the first round, honestly, I don't care what team he goes to. I am running that to the podium at pick 5 all day long. Texans, yeah, it's a dumpster fire roster. We could argue, right? They do have a couple playmakers, right? They do have. We talked about Nico Collins. Brevin Jordan's coming on a little bit, right? The running game is lacking, but I also see that they're getting Kyron Williams in this draft too, which is another guy I'm really high on. So I think that would be a nice fit if those two were sort of paired together. Look, guys, I starting to sound like a broken record, but just watch the film, man. Pickett, I get the stuff about his years before, but man, this year's film is better than any quarterback in this draft, hands down. You know,
Dan, your time's up, Dan.
Oh man, I could have gone all day.
I know, time's up. Okay.
All right.
Pickett is good, man. I actually looked at some film this past weekend. I looked at the film that you guys created, Brandon, and he surprised me. So I'm not mad at that pick. It's just that landing spot kind of threw me off.
The landing spot is rough, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big Pickett guy. You guys already know that. But I mean, if he gets taken in the first round, number 2 overall, I mean, he has to be like 105 is a steal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got Brandon Cooks. If he stays there, they have the opportunity to bring some guys in the offseason through free agency. I mean, it's not as difficult as it used to be to turn over a roster, you know. So he has playmakers. Like you said, they're getting Kyron Williams in the 3rd round, according to this mock. I mean, at this point, it's a good pick.
All right, Corey, you're on the board, my friend.
All right. I had a couple thoughts here. I mean, whatever. We're all gonna pick these guys eventually, anyways, you know. But I think based on talent, in a sense, I know you got to draft talent over situation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. My guy right here would probably be Garrett Wilson, but I'm not taking Garrett Wilson. Okay. Yes. I don't like the spot to the Browns that much. Okay. They haven't had really a guy be featured there, be super fantasy relevant. I know they haven't had anybody like Garrett Wilson there. And well, besides maybe OBJ, but he spent his whole time injured anyways, but, Landry's fading. It's a run-heavy team. It's a volume. It's not a volume-heavy pass attack. So I'm passing on Garrett Wilson here from a fantasy aspect, and I'm going to my RB2 in Isaiah Spiller, going to Atlanta. I think they're begging for a running back there. They're running a Swiss Army knife, Cordell Patterson back there right now, who's filling basically because Mike Davis is a slow plotter now that can't do anything. They're trying to find something going on back there, and they got nothing. So if you're talking, you added Matt Corral already. Now you're adding Isaiah Spiller. You get Calvin Ridley back with his mind right. You got Pitts. I mean, this is a team that can turn around quickly, and I really like Isaiah Spiller's mold. He brings the ideal size. He's 215, 220 based on whatever you read. He's 6'1". He's 200 yards receiving in every season in college. 20 receptions at least every year, over 1,000 yards scrimmage every year, 3 years, early declare. I mean, he checks off every box you want. And maybe it's not explosive production. Maybe it's not, 1,700 yards, 1,800 yards like some of these guys go for. But he's running on an SEC team. He's running against tough defenses. He's done well against good competition. And I think he's improved every year, which is what I like to see. His acceleration, his footwork, his burst. So I'm pretty happy with Isaiah Spiller here at 106, and I'm a running back heavy guy. I think they are. If you have a good I like to build my team around wide receivers because those guys last forever. But when you're ready for a championship run, you need that king running back, and I'm hoping that Isaiah Spiller would be that guy.
I really like that pick. I really like that pick. I think it's a good landing spot. I think you look at what Cordero's doing, how he's producing in that offense, and the fact that he's 30 years old and B on a 1-year contract. It's like a decent chance that he's either gone next year or the year after. So it's not like he's got a big, big stopgap in his way.
Thanks for bringing that up, Sam. I was going to say this is your time to once again remind you that keeping Cordell Patterson in the 2022 season is a humongous mistake.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
He's a flash in the pan, I think, what we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah,
A sexy one though.
Yeah.
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 I wish I had shares on my
carrying my
championship
rosters.
Yeah. I actually really like both those the fits for both those running backs. You know, if Miami if this really happened this way, I'd be thrilled with those landing spots. These were both teams that we were all hoping for one of the top running backs to go to last year. So like it.
All right, Rich, take us around. You got the 1.07. Who you taking?
All right, I gave a little fist pump because I was really down to two people. It was Spiller and then it was Wilson. Like you said, the landing spot for Wilson, it's a little iffy. All right, so I could go London, but Wilson's my wide receiver one in the class. I'm going to go with Wilson. I mean, the guy produced at Ohio State in a crowded wide receiver room. Not only did he produce, he basically leapfrogged Chris Olave, right? The guy is unbelievably consistent. He has unbelievable body control and awareness. I don't think that he's, a speedster or anything, but he's not slow. I think that he is unbelievably talented. And I think that, they're a run-heavy team, but they don't have that wide receiver one. Like you said, Landry's getting older. You know what I mean? So he's at this point, he's more of a slot guy. You know, he's always been kind of underneath and the mid guy. I think that Wilson maybe in year 2 could really take over, that wide receiver core and start putting up some really big numbers.
Well, he's got a stable, with Mayfield, if he stays there. I mean, at least he'll have stability in that position to help him. So,
but is that a good thing?
No.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I mean, even when Stefanski was in Minnesota, he had Thielen and Diggs. You know what I mean? So he knows how to give production to wide receivers. So I mean, I'm gonna draft the talent over the situation because situations change.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he's going to be battling with Donovan Peoples-Jones in a year and a half for competition, and I'm happy to take Wilson over him 10 times out of 10.
All day.
Agreed.
Yeah.
all right, Sam, you got back-to-backers, buddy.
Cheater.
Well, honestly, I didn't even realize that because I was just stressing between two guys. So
you can take them.
Take them both.
It's a snake draft. It's a
Yeah,
snake
it is.
draft, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. All right. Well, I'll debate between them anyway, so I can see who I take first. This was a tough one when I was picking between two guys, and one where there's two guys that are very close for me. That where landing spot could definitely affect it. And I think just because of landing spot, I'm gonna start with Jamison Williams. I think there's the possibility that Rodgers is gone. I do still think that there's a possibility that he stays, but even if he does leave, I just think Green Bay is a pretty good organization. They consistently are good at getting, they've had great quarterback play for decades on end. And plus there's just really not much competition at the position. And I just think James Williams is a great talent. I mean, we've seen what he's done this year. I mean, Brandon mentioned he was almost going to take him at 104 if he were confident that Rodgers were staying there. Big play threat. He's tearing it up at Bama this year. I mean, he almost won the Biletnikoff. I went to my guy, Jordan Addison. But, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely pretty happy to get him at 108. I was kind of hoping Wilson would slide because I think that's a great pick. He's my wide receiver one in the class. At 201, though, I'm going to go with a guy who I don't like his landing spot, but I do like the player, and that's David Bell. It's tough to take him over London when London got round 1 capital, but I think David Bell, I prefer both his film and his analytical profile. So I don't know. I like him. I know some of the tape guys are not as high on his separation skills. And for me, when I watch his tape, I can see where you're coming from that end, but I think part of it is his usage. He doesn't run a very wide, diverse route tree, so you don't see many examples of him winning. But I think the routes that he runs very well. I think he runs one of the best comeback routes I've seen. I think his out routes are pretty crisp. I think he's smart against zone coverage, knows how to attack a defensive back's leverage, and then we all know about the ball skills. I don't think anyone questions that. He's got tough hands, makes some seriously impressive catches. So, yeah, happy to get those 2 wide receivers on the turn.
Oh, I got to change my background. That's really mean, Sam.
I actually really like that fit, to be honest. I think pairing him with Mooney, Allen Robinson will probably be gone.
Yeah.
Him and Mooney and Fields, they're likely going to have a new coach in place, new coaching staff. So I think that could be a nice fit there.
I think he fits the Allen Robinson mold, and I think we've seen how Allen Robinson is producing in that offense. And I just don't trust the organization very well. But if Fields takes off, then yeah, it could benefit him. But I'm not. I'm going to operate on a believe it when I see it with the Bears on that end.
One of the big. Go ahead, Corey.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of the big issues on film for David Bell, I recall, is that he's not a big separator. And I worry that if Justin Fields can get to that point where he can throw someone open instead of having to see someone open, you know what I mean? I think that could potentially hinder David Bell's ceiling a little bit.
Very good point. Yeah.
You kind of stole the words right out of my mouth there. I mean, I was going to say, you look at the Bears even this year and you see where Justin Fields has had his success. It's targeting guys like Mooney. It's targeting guys like Goodwin. It's targeting guys like Bird, shifty, smaller guys who get open a little bit better than a guy like Allen Robinson, who maybe takes a little bit longer to get open. Or we've seen this year that he has been able to get open, but it's taken a little longer, deeper in the route. And Fields is a guy who likes to see his guy open. He's not a guy who throws to someone who's tightly contested, or he'll give a guy a chance like that. So unless he develops that ability, like Britt was kind of saying, I am kind of worried about the David Bell fit there. I do think Fields excels more. I mean, even you go back to the OSU days where he was Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. It was these smaller, shifty guys that he excelled with. It wasn't there wasn't a lot of big bodied contested catch guys for him. You know what I mean? And he smashes everything from an analytical aspect. So I understand why you like him. But yeah, the film does concern me, and the landing spot confirmed.
In Fields' defense, though, he's running for his life. I mean, he doesn't have time. So I think it's kind of a mix between, is it A-Rob's fault? Is it Fields' fault? I mean, he has a couple seconds to get the ball out before he gets killed. Well,
yeah, but that's part of my concern. Like, I don't really fully expect them to fix that. Like, that's why I don't like the fit. I just don't. I don't like the organization.
I understand.
Yeah.
The Bears.
And on Jameson, I don't mind that pick either. My main concern, though, is Green Bay completely hitting the reset button a lot sooner than we would like to admit. If Rodgers goes, there's even been some talk of Adams, if he's going to stay there forever. Like, I don't, if they hit the reset, they might decide to move him. Maybe Jones is gone in a year or two, and they just ride A.J. Dillon and Jordan Love, and who knows what that's going to look like. So I am a little bit worried about that spot, too.
Yeah, I think Adams is gone especially if Rodgers leaves.
If Rodgers is gone, I agree. Adams is likely gone.
Yeah, they'd have to
at that point, you can
make an argument, guys, for all of these landing spots, right? That they've all have issues with them. They all have half the QBs in this league aren't even good enough to really support a lot of wide receiver ones. So
it looks like Devontae's a free agent too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Devontae to Denver, you heard it here first.
But the bottom line is if we're looking at these players, right, and all the landing spots are kind of question marks, then you're going to go based on what your talent evaluation is, right? Whether it's film, whether it's metrics, whatever, it is just what it is. So yeah, a lot of these landing spots aren't great. Rich, so you got the next pick, my friend. Who are you taking?
All righty. So I thought Sam was going to go this one, and I'm glad that he didn't, because then I would have been stuck with David Bell. So I think this is about as long as I can wait to where I'm going to get a viable running back. So I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker and team him up with my first round pick, Wilson. What can I say about Walker, right? So he had an unbelievable season, as everybody knows. 1,636 yards. Average 6.2 per rush. He had 18 touchdowns, right? So, and he's not only a 1-year guy, right? So when he was at Wake last year, he was splitting carries for some reason with somebody else, and he continually popped, right? So the limited touches that he got continually popped. He actually scored 13 touchdowns last year for Wake. All right, so My one concern, well, I have two concerns. My one concern about him talent-wise is his limited receptions. He's only got 13 receptions this year, 3 the previous 2, right? So that's obviously a concern. I think another concern I have is will Fournette be there more than, say, next year, right? So I expect him to come in and do a timeshare with, I'd say, Fournette, just similar to what Javonte Williams is doing in Denver, right? The concern I have is, does Fournette leave after that year, and then they turn the reins over to Walker? In addition to that, is Brady still there?
Yeah,
right?
I think
Because
when Brady goes, everybody.
Yeah, Brady can help him receiving wise. I mean, he's done it to a lot of running backs in the past. But I think in the second round at this point, I mean, this is I'm very happy with that selection.
Yeah, we got some comments in the comments section here. Felix says Carson Strong QB1 is still on the board.
I'm surprised he waited so long. I'm
Yeah.
surprised he waited so long.
Felix.
Yeah. So that's
Felix
too
is
funny.
the biggest Carson Strong fan, man. That's great.
Yeah, he is. He likes him. All right, Corey, who you taking at the 2.03?
All right. Well, in Dynasty, I play by a few rules, all right? Especially when we're playing a super flex. We get to the second round and there's a first round quarterback still on the board. I can't help but pull the trigger. Okay. I've got to do this. Guy's going to get an opportunity. I don't love him that much. I actually thought he actually lost a little bit this year. He didn't especially in some of those high interception games, his pocket presence, everything. But I'm going with Malik Willis here. He brings a lot of tools to the position. It's, he's 6'1", 215. He's got the extra athleticism. If Denver's going to go as high as 14 on him, then they got a plan for this guy, whether he's going to sit for a little bit and take over for Bridgewater halfway through, whatever, which would probably be the smart thing because Willis has been so shaky this year. His accuracy's been a little bit all over the place. His pocket presence has been a little bit all over the place, but we're still talking about a guy who rushed for almost 1,000 yards. I think he's going to run. I think he's a 4 or 5 guy, if I were to take a guess. I don't think we're talking Lamar Jackson speed here, whatever. I think he's a high 4 or 5 guy. He's going to be like a 4 or 5, 7, 4 or 5, 6. But that's still the ability to bring that extra element to that offense, something that they've been lacking, something a little bit extra. And, he's got a pretty good arm on him, too, and maybe he can get a little bit going. He's got a lot of weapons around him here. He's got Melvin Gordon if he stays around. If not, whatever. You got Javonte Williams. You got Cortland Sutton. You got Jerry Jeudy still around. You got Tim Patrick locked up. You got Albert O. You got Noah Fant. You got everything you could want here. Pretty solid O-line. So he has everything working in his advantage to make it work here. So I can't help but take him here and just hope that it works out.
I like it. I think it's a good pick. I think there's some potential upside. Again, hopefully he gets the opportunity. He is nowhere near ready to be a starter come week 1. No. I mean, he would be well versed to do exactly what Trey Lance is doing. They sit, with another year with Teddy Bridgewater, whatever they want to do, and let this kid. I think Teddy Bridgewater would probably be a good guy for him to learn from. Wily veteran, So yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you, Corey. At this part in the draft, go with the upside, especially if you're questioning these other, landing spots or these other receivers. If you're just not really, too keen on them.
Can I just say that? Just please don't put that out there. Don't subject me to another year of Teddy Bridgewater, man. Please don't even put that shit in the universe, please.
I'd like the devil to.
As a Broncos fan, I literally cringe when I watch him play. It's bad, man. I just can't with him. But I think there's a likelihood, honestly, that Denver will miss the playoffs and that coaching staff will be gone. I'd like to think that they might bring in a creative offensive mind to actually utilize all those weapons that they invested in. So that would be a fun fit if Malik hits. If he hits, man, that getting him right there is huge.
My soccer players would appreciate that.
I just would like to mention that I'm very upset they passed on Justin Fields to then go and get a lesser Justin Fields and Malik Fields for the record.
Yeah. I agree.
I have some words for this person who made this mock draft.
Pat Surtain's elite, though. So
Pat Surtain, though. Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. All right, Dan, who you got at 2.04?
All right. Yeah, let me see the board. There we go. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little bit ugly for me. Now, there's two receivers I really like, but I don't like either landing spot for them really at all, to be honest. But in Drake London and Jahan Dotson, it's kind of a toss up there. But I'm going to go with Drake London. I just have him a little bit higher in my rankings. The Raiders, look, they don't throw to their wide receivers right now. I mean, they do to Renfro, but their outside guys don't get a lot of work. Maybe London would change that trend. I've also heard, there's some rumblings now that Derek Carr might be on his way out if the Raiders falter here down the stretch and don't make the playoffs. They're going to bring in a new coaching staff. They might have a new quarterback that might change that offense entirely, right? So I'm banking on the upside here because, London, he's got the injury, but he's shown this year. He showed a lot, man. He really improved from his sophomore year to his junior year. And I think he's got the chops to make some early noise if they get him the ball.
As a Raider fan, they really have nothing. I mean, They need an alpha. And could Drake London be that alpha, like a Mike Evans or something like that? I don't know, but they need a receiver bad there.
Yeah, I was just talking about this earlier with a couple of guys too, and we were saying the same thing that what's happened to Carr, and we were talking about how trying to pick it apart. And it's the protection as well, but it's the lack of weapons, And even if you go back to when he had Amari Cooper, when he had Michael Crabtree, and he was almost in talks for an MVP season, or the way he uses Waller or whatever, when he has weapons, he's able to use them. But when he lacks trust in the weapons, he doesn't use them. What is he going to do? Throw deep to a 30-whatever-year-old D-Jax, or Zay Jones dropping every second ball, or Brian Edwards who can't separate from anybody? No, you're going to go to Renfro who can get to. You're going to go to Renfro who can get open in short spaces, and that's essentially
Renfro
what
and
he
Waller.
does. And Renfro and Waller right now, right? So they need an alpha there. And I actually like the fit for Drake London there. I think he could become the alpha. And I was super impressed with him this year after we did our film review last year, and I ended up a little down on him because it was a lot of manufactured touches, and it was him running out of the slot. I mean, anybody who's watched the film on him previous to this year knows this. It was short stuff, and it was all wide open in the middle of the field, no press coverage, no nothing. And this year it was tight on the outside. He was winning on the outside. He did everything that we wanted to see him improve on. So I like this pick. He's an alpha wide receiver one.
You guys did a film on that at the beginning of the year, if I remember right, Corey.
Yeah. We did.
The nice thing too is we saw Drake London with manufactured touches, and he did fine. It's not like he was struggling with that. It was just limiting to project him in the NFL. But the biggest concern is just the situation, which you can't really weigh that strongly with drafts because it changes frequently.
Yeah.
All right. Well, looks like I'm on the board. I'm pretty excited. I was hoping my boy, fell to me, but this was an easy pick for me. I'm taking Mr. George Pickens. Now, listen, I know I'm in a minority.
I was hoping he'd make it. I doubt it.
I like it.
I know he's a hothead. I know he doesn't have the production, so Britt's out on him. I know that.
How dare you? I love him.
There's a lot of. I know I'm being sarcastic. There's a lot of question marks, but I just think that this kid is the most physical receiver in all of football. I love his ability. He had some drops, last year before he got injured. The ACL is probably going to drop him in drafts, so I think an NFL team could potentially get a really good value here. But he was the first guy I ever did a film on my YouTube channel many, many years ago, coming, after his freshman year at Georgia. And I just loved his height, his length, he's not the most elite route runner, but I think he's got the physicality, and I'm hoping the ACL injury turned out to be a humbling experience for him, where maybe he grew up as a man and got over his ability. You guys saw the fight that he had at Georgia Tech a couple years ago. He can lose his shit, but intangibles, can he put it together? Not only that, the landing spot, man, the ball getting thrown to him by Herbert, I
love it.
Mike Williams. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where Mike Williams, what his contract status is, and Keenan Allen's not getting any younger, and so there's an opportunity he could come in, carve out a role, and really eventually be the alpha in that offense in 3 or 4 years with Herbert. So I was sitting here for the last 3 picks just praying And Jahan Dotson probably would have been my next pick, but wide receivers go to the Eagles to die. So I know that hand, and I would never draft an Eagles running back, not until their quarterback is solution. But so I'm pretty psyched here getting George Pickens here in the second pick.
I think that's my favorite landing spot for all the wide receivers.
It's a great one. If he comes back healthy, I mean, they got a steal there. He's a perfect replacement for Mike Williams. And I don't think that Keenan's skill set is one that fades with age. He doesn't rely on being super fast or super speedy. He's a very technical guy. And I could see his skill set like an Anquan Bolden going a lot later into his years. So I could picture him being that underneath guy for a guy like Pickens on the outside and still having that elite combo for Herbert for years to come. I love the landing spot.
I think Pickens is a good transition for the Chargers from Mike Williams. I think they're the same type of player. I'm concerned about his maturity. However, obviously, you see these kids are in college. I mean, they're 19, 20 years old. I mean, I was probably doing the same stuff at that age. So they're going to mature with time, So, I mean, he's uber talented. Like you said, he's a great landing spot. I love Herbert being there, and he can get him the ball. So I'm all for it.
Before that injury, he was my wide receiver 2 in the class preseason. I had to drop him a little bit for the injury, but I absolutely love the talent. It's a great pick at 13.
The nice thing with his injury for ACLs is you usually see hamstrings the next following year, but where he injured his ACL and his limiting playing time, you're probably going to be able to bystep any significant hamstring injury. So really you're looking at him going in freshly, fully healthy into the NFL preseason, which is, you couldn't ask for anything better, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, Daz, you got the 2.06 pick. Who you taking, my friend?
All right. That was a really good pick with Pickens. I was really hoping that he landed to me, because I really do like that. I really do like that landing spot with Herbert, and just coming in there, and he can be a really explosive player for that team and that offense. I mean, that bomb that Herbert threw to what was it?
Palmer or Guyton?
Yeah.
I could just see that Pickens, and what I mean. So just
70 air yards. My goodness.
Yeah, that was crazy. Basically flat-footed too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But I went wide receiver first round because I really like Traylon Burks as far as like my wide receiver 1. And, I'm gonna go with Kyron Williams on this one.
Dead.
So the reason why I'm gonna go with Kyron, right?
You're killing.
Love it.
Seriously.
I'm gonna go with Kyron just because I said in the beginning I didn't like the Pickett going to Texans, but just because of the quarterback situation and how that. But I can't say the same thing with Kyron Williams. I think he will come in and have an immediate role. They don't have any running back there.
They got nothing.
He could be possibly a 3-down running back. I don't really see him like that as that yet, but he really could be a good player for that team. Hopefully, I mean, I guess it looks like they're going to be doing some kind of rebuild, but maybe he could be a piece for the rebuild and come out and kill. Because I really looked at him this year. I really liked how he played for Notre Dame, and he's a really talented guy. He's a really talented running back as well. So that's my pick.
I like it.
It's
a good pick.
Love it.
Yeah, I love Kyron too.
Kyron.
He's a 3-down back for me, man.
Yes.
It's the size concern is there, whatever. That's the one thing. Other than that, he pass protects, he catches the ball, he runs hard, man. That would really be an excellent fit. Him and Pickett together could really change that organization potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of depends, I guess, what he weighs at the combine. If maybe he can get it up to 200 from like 195, get a little bit.
That's
reasonable.
Kind of look at what Michael Carter's been doing, guys. I know he's injured right now, but he had basically a 3-down rule with the Jets there for a bit, and he was producing.
Yeah, but I don't think at 205 would be a top 5 guy for me for sure.
I don't think Carter can sustain that though.
No, but the nice thing about Kyron is that he's one of the best pass blockers I've been told in this class.
Yes.
Yep.
And you know that Coley's going to want to protect his quarterback. And so he's going to be on the field, and he's got that going for him. So, at this point, you're really not losing a whole lot of value by going with a guy that may just be a 1-year type of back, Yeah,
my concern there, too, is just with the Texans. I know they had just like every freaking guy in the book that was just a journeyman running back in their backfield this year. But they just had no direction. There was no guy they leaned on. There was no guy that I saw, kind of take over. There was no strong running game. It's hard for me to see him coming in, being the one and just going to town and having a strong role, especially as a guy who already kind of profiles as a change of pace. And this is coming from a guy, I love Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the landing spot, though. I really am. If he goes here to the Texans.
The only reason why I picked Kyron Williams here is because all the other running backs that I like is gone. So
you gotta take the shots. You gotta just take the shots.
It's almost like a dart throw right now. Because it's not that I don't like the talent. I love the guy. I love the prospect and everything. The Houston Texans. I'm sorry, any Houston Texans fans. I'm sorry, but it's just I can't. I don't know what they're doing there. So
it's good draft capital for Kyron though, and I think that factors in. You know what I mean? I've been on record. If he goes day 2. I'm going to be all over him in the second round.
The ideal thing here is Austin Eckler, right? I mean, I think that's what everybody hopes. But there's an honest like chance here. He's like freaking like I know Gio's a little heavier, but there's an honest chance he has a long NFL career. But he's someone like Gio Bernard who excels as a change of pace, and it's just like that for his whole career.
All right, Britt, you're up. Who you got? 2.07.
Yeah, I really want to go Jahan Dotson here, but honestly, I'm having PTSD from the Eagles, so not yet, Brandon, from Jalen Reagor. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. It hurts. I look. God. And then Chris Olave is just mocking me right now. He's just literally mocking me and saying you shouldn't have been talking all that trash about me, idiot. I'm going to go – shoot. I was really wanting to go Kyron Williams. Okay, so – what I'm trying to do here is I'm looking at tight ends. I think right now is a decent time to go tight ends. I'm not in love with any of the wide receivers. I like Dotson. I don't believe in his talent enough to rise above. And then I see everybody in round 3 that I figure I can get in 2.5 picks. So I'm going to go with my tight end 1, which is going to be Trey McBride. And I like this on a couple different levels. I think he is the best fit for a Seahawk tight end other than Cade Otton. And I think that Trey McBride is more likely than not to be more incentivizing than Cade Otton simply because he doesn't have a injury history, and he's also a very, very good catcher. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's going to do everything that Pete Carroll wants him to. I can't wait till I can stop saying that. Please. But I like Trey McBride in this spot here, and I think out of all the tight end landing spots, he's probably the most likely to get on the field the quickest. Gerald Everett's not going to stick around, and I like Will Dissly, but he's pretty much walking with a walker at this point, given his sapped energy and power.
All right, Sal, you got 2 picks.
Yeah, when you pick at 101, it's an eternity before you pick again.
It is.
And then you're left with Jahan Dotson on the Eagles, and you're like, no, I just can't. I love Penn State. I like Jahan Dotson, but I have a couple teams that have Jalen Reagor on it still, and no, I just can't. So I guess at this point of the draft, you're looking at BPA. Best player available. Like the tight ends, I'm not crazy about Jalen Watermeyer going to the Bengals. I mean, they already got enough people to throw to. Cade Otton going to the Packers. What's he going to get? 2 catches a game, if that? He's not like a game changer. Khalil Shakir going to the Pats. I kind of like that a little bit, but I don't know. Those 3rd round guys, some of them jump out at me, but not at this point in draft. So, when I look at best player available, I have to say Chris Olave. I don't know. I'm not crazy about, with the Buck. If Mike Evans is going to be there, Chris Godwin's gone. I mean, Evans and Olave, AB is probably going to be gone. Well, I don't know. AB might stay because of if Brady stays one more year. But Olave, he's a great route runner. Good speed, better. His speed is kind of deceptive, I think. Like he runs faster than you would think he runs. But I don't know if anybody else kind of likes the spot on the Bucks. I'm not crazy about it, with Evans on the other side, but he is the best wide receiver available on the board right now.
Oh, I think at this point in the draft, you have to take talent, right? I mean, I think the landing spots for those early guys can bump their stock here, but I mean, you just sat here and rattled off all these players and not like loving their landing spot, or you didn't maybe like their skill set or something. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point you take the guy that you have the most belief in. Like Britt said, I mean, things change. These landing spots, although important, their situations can change relatively quickly.
And if Godwin does move on, he is kind of the guy who could replace that role, especially if Brady moves on and they hit the reset button. And I'm pretty sure Evans will stick around. I don't know if they'll have traded. He seems like a franchise guy. He's taking pay cut after pay cut. I think he's a lifer there, but we'll see. I don't know. He's stuck through a couple quarterback changes already. So I kind of think he's a lifer there. Olave would fit kind of seamlessly in that slot. There could be garbage time if they're a bad team post Brady. So you never know. It could be a good landing spot at the end of the day.
I'm convinced that Tom Brady has a secret room with some sort of life potion in there. The guy, he's never gonna fucking retire, man. I'm tired of predicting it.
He learned cloning. I think he's got it like 100 Tom Brady's, and they're just young, and he just picks them up and replaces himself.
All right, Sal, you get another pick.
Yeah, with my second pick, I think I got to go with what like Corey said. It's the third round of a Superflex draft. Do I like Carson Strong? He's okay. But, I mean, he's got Jared Goff in front of him. Mm-hmm. It's not, Carson, you have to pick him here at 3.01.
That's tremendous value.
Yeah, you have to pick him there. Yeah. That was a great value there. If he actually fell to the third round, I'd be screaming. Like, for a guy who looks like he could be walking into a role there. I mean, Jared Goff isn't the most mobile guy, and I know that's what we kind of harp on Carson Strong for. But at the end of the day, he can beat out Jared Goff. He can do what Jared Goff can do, and maybe even and probably more. So
yeah, they don't like Jared Goff there at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if he came in day one.
Yeah.
He's got a rifle arm. He just has nobody to throw it to.
They're also building their team the right way, which is why I'm really happy you didn't go with my pick, Sal. So thank you. I'm going Jerome Ford here. I want to double check to see the James Conner. I hope you would. I hope you would.
I wanted him to fall to me too.
So James Conner and Chase Edmonds are going to be free agents next year, which leaves Jonathan Ward. So Jerome Ford at this point, I mean, you're looking at tremendous opportunity. I'm not going to pretend like he's the only player not the only player there, but I think him accompanied with a veteran, it's clear that the Cardinals are happy and comfortable doing a bit of a committee. I think this is a smash spot, and the upside here is just infinite.
I quit the dashboard. I'm leaving. See you later.
I like the pick, Brett. I think it's a great pick. I mean, you want to talk about a landing spot in heaven, I mean, with all the pieces they have in place with Murray and Zach Ertz. Well, he won't be there long, but Hopkins. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a perfect kind of situation where a running back is going to get jumped up right now. Because of that juicy landing spot. I think that's going to elevate a guy like Jerome Ford, especially if he's a day two guy, which in this particular draft he was.
Look at what James Conner is doing, man. We all had him buried 6 feet under the ground, and they just dug him up, and the corpse of James Conner is producing.
Yeah, so, he's gonna be a league winner this year, man. Whoever would have thought.
And it's
Sal, you're getting a lot of buzz on the chat here. They're all telling you that you're the robber of the drafts with taking Carson Strong here.
Is it Felix? Is Felix the one?
It's Brendan Hay and Dynasty Kings. They said you're getting a steal with Strong.
I think Felix is really upset that he fell that far.
He shouldn't. That was a good.
Crying too hard to type.
All right, Des, what's going on? Who are you taking here, my friend?
All right, so for my last pick, I'm gonna go with Jahan Dotson. He's the best receiver still on the board. Round one draft capital. He's gonna come in there and they're gonna try to build something with him and Devontae Smith. I don't know what they're doing with the quarterback position yet, but hopefully they continue to build, and maybe Brandon, your Eagles can have a good solid Penn State guy. I really liked him this year. He did have Parker Washington on the other side of him, and they were playing well with each other. But Jahan definitely came out and played really good this year. And I don't watch too much Penn State football, and he's the one that stuck out for me. So I'm gonna pick him here at the 303.
I love.
Yeah, thank you I appreciate you doing that, Des. So I didn't have to be forced to even consider it.
Can we just be happy that the Eagles took another subpar wide receiver in the first round again? Like, that is poetry.
The fan base would be going crazy. My
Yeah.
goodness, if this actually happened, yeah, it would be 3 years, wouldn't it? Rieger, Smith, and
no.
Dotson,
I think the Eagles fans want all defensive picks.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the first
I
round
don't think that's
without-
going to be the pick first round at all.
Yeah, without question. Yeah, I was very surprised by that. I don't think the Eagles swing again. I think there's depth in this wide receiver class. You do that round 2.
Yeah. Even round 3, you know, they don't need to take a wide receiver round 1. But in the defense, so I will say this in defense of the Eagles wide receivers, man, Devontae Smith looks like he can produce.
Yes.
I know he's had some health concerns and whatnot, but look, if the guy's good enough, he'll produce. And we're seeing that with Devontae Smith. So
So, well, I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at what's left here. There's actually 2 or 3 players that I would pick that aren't on this list over what is left on the list, but that is not the drill. I would probably I hate to do it. I really do, but
do it.
I can't take a Jaguar. I just can't
do it.
I just can't. I can't.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you,
man. I just if they keep that coach, it's so dysfunctional down there. I think at this point, because there's more depth, I think in the wide receiver room, I'll take Zach Charbonnet here. I'm going to double down on my running back. Just because you never know, what they're going to do. So, given what's left on the board here, John Mechie, if he had a different landing spot, maybe, but that just concerns me. James Cook, I think, would be a nice complimentary back, but Zach Charbonnet has the size. He's got the bell cow ability. He's really, rebounded this year. I don't see him being an RB1 on a team, but I think he could be, maybe an Elijah Mitchell guy who gets an opportunity and ends up producing and being successful for a year or two. So of all the choices, that's who I'm going to take. Yeah.
As a Raider fan, the Raiders, even by picking up Kenyon Drake, by going through all those other receiving running backs instead of throwing the ball to Jacobs, they're telling us they don't want to give Jacobs the ball a ton. I can see Zach Charbonnet going in and taking over that role, being the RB2 there, maybe eventually even being the RB1. Should he be? I don't know. I don't think so. But the Raiders they're almost as bad as the Jaguars.
Yeah,
when it comes to that kind of stuff.
It is worth noting that
he has 1 more year. So
Jacobs is getting worked into the passing offense, which is huge for him.
Huge for Jacobs stocks too.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good spot there. And are we sure that John Mechie is going to come out after he tore his ACL?
I recorded that show today. I said I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna definitely come back. I think he comes back like Smith did. I mean, that room is so open and available. He'll be the wide receiver 1 in that room next year.
He has to. Because he did not look good this year.
Yeah. All right, Dan, who you picking here, buddy? With the scraps left over.
Oh man, I was hoping to get a running back out of this draft, but there's nothing there that I see that's worth taking right now. So I'm going to pivot to my tight end 1 and take Jalen Weidemeyer here. So we kind of somebody touched on it earlier. I think was it you, Sal, that they have a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah,
there, and it's true, they do, but they also have Joe Burrow, who I think is a tremendous quarterback. I know he's had some mistakes this year, but man, he can sling it, and he's going to continue to sling it in that offense. And I don't expect Boyd, I think, is kind of the odd man out. I don't expect him to be there long term. And Weidemeyer could really step in and soak up some targets, man. He'd be the number 3 guy, but again, explosive offense. They could support 3 guys. I think he would be on the field a lot. He's a good blocker, just a good all around tight end. Nice catch point. He goes up, he gets the ball. He's got it. Pretty solid route running chops from what I've seen, and I like it. I like the fit there, actually.
All right.
I like that pick.
It's a good pick.
I mean, even CJ, what is it? CJ Uzoma. He had a couple that was relevant this year.
Yeah.
So
Sample.
Weidemeyer, that's a good pick there.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Corey, I can see you scrambling around, looking on the computer, looking at stats and going through folders. But
I got the wife bugging me. Okay, that's what's happening right now.
Just get the other quarterback, Corey.
I know, me too.
Oh God,
Yeah,
hey, it's
goodness.
tempting. It's tempting to take the other quarterback. It is to double
I
up
was
here
about to take
because
him.
he could honestly start pretty quick for Washington too. I mean, they got nothing there, so I could go Desmond Ridder here. I probably would go Desmond Ridder in an actual draft, but just to talk about somebody else, and there's nothing really to say about a quarterback, really. I mean, we all know why we take him in Superflex. I will go with Khalil Shakir here instead for New England. I kind of like the spot because he is a versatile player, and I think he's a Belichick kind of player. Somebody who can do it all, somebody who can, be used out of the backfield, be used on the bubble screens, manufacture touches, and he can still be a wide receiver threat down the field as well. Brings good size. It's a weapon for Mac Jones. He's not unlike a lot of the wide receivers that Mac Jones has kind of been playing with a lot this year, like the Kendrick Bournes and shit like that. So I think that he can fit well here. It gives Mac Jones another weapon on the outside. I'm not sure of how well the fantasy production will be, but we're here in the third round. He was a second-round wide receiver, and I'm going to just take my chance on Khalil Shakir. I think in a different draft, I would have taken Desmond Ridder, but I just want to talk about Khalil a little bit.
I like the pick.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like that.
They need some stability in that wide receiver room, and it's just a great organization, and they get the people in the right spots there. So I think the landing spot of Patriot receivers is a good one.
Landing spot matters for sure, and Mac Jones clearly landed in the best spot from all the quarterbacks last year. Jacoby Myers and Khalil Shakir would be an interesting pairing with Mac Jones. I like that as well.
All right, Rich, we got two more picks here to round this out here.
All right. I think I'm in dart throw territory, obviously. I went round one with a wide receiver, round two with a running back. So, I mean, I got to finish out the third round with taking a quarterback this late in the draft, right? I mean, it's a super flex. He's going to Washington. As long as if they don't bring back Fitzpatrick, then he has to beat out Heineke. I don't think Heineke is a long-term starter in the NFL. On the flip side, I don't think Desmond Ridder is a long-term starter in the NFL. Maybe not even a starter in the NFL. But he has traits, right? So he has traits. He's real accurate. He's obviously mobile, can provide some rushing upside. Ron Rivera's offense, they do a lot of the short passing game, intermediate passing game. And I think that Desmond Ridder can do what Heineke is doing, but better. He doesn't have, obviously, like I said, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he has a strong enough arm. So, I mean, I think this late in the draft, it's worth the dart throw.
All right. I like it.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, Sam, round us out, my friend.
Yeah, well, I was hoping either Ridder or Shakir made it to me. That didn't work out. My next pick would ideally be, I think there's about 5 guys that didn't go in this draft that I would take over anyone that's available here. But, I'm a little bit intrigued by Romeo Dupes. I think he's been pretty productive down there. I guess I have already taken 2 wide receivers, so maybe not the smartest move. But I think he's, just in terms of BPA, and, there's no one, Kate Otten went in the second, but tight end draft capital is a little different. And I think I'm just going to go with Dupes. He's just the guy I'm most interested in that's left on the board there. Nothing else much to say.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice pick. I mean, he's definitely got some talent, obviously, playing over in Nevada. So it's a great pick at this point in the draft.
Yeah,
who else is out there?
Casey's begging for a wide receiver too that can actually freaking do something for them.
I didn't even mention that, but obviously the landing spot. I like that. Yeah, I just forgot to mention that part.
This is also like the trap we keep falling into the fantasy hive mind is that this person's gonna be the next big thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
which is tough. But I mean,
that's the fun of it all.
Mecole Hardman.
Right.
I was about to say the same thing. It's hard for me to trust right now any any player really on Kansas City not named Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill or Patrick Mahomes, of course. But it's a home run. It's a dart throw, and you could hit a home run with that one. So,
but the name of the game is to always take the Kansas City wide receiver. because eventually you'll be right.
Eventually,
right.
one of them will work out.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that was a fun exercise. I think we're going to do this a couple more times. I think
love
maybe,
it.
you know,
Yeah,
we'll
have
do
a
it
great
after the
time.
holidays and we'll get some more mock drafts. So I guess we're getting a little long in the tooth here in the show. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and thank you guys for joining me tonight. And this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have these games coming up over the holidays, which is going to round out our college season. And then it's going to be all about the rookies, I think, for a couple months as we head into our rookie drafts and stuff. And then we're going to be, of course, grinding film for all the incoming freshmen and get back on that train eventually. So, hey, guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight on this mock draft.
Don't
Happy
forget to
holidays,
sign up for
everybody.
that full pick.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks.